I write down like almost all my bits over and over and over again.
Yeah.
When I'm working on like a new set like I'm working on right now, like completing a new hour, which is pretty done, I write out each bit over and over and over again. So my notebook, literally, I would look like a mad person.
Oh, someone found my notebook.
The same thing over and over and over again. You know, it's all ridiculous subjects as it is, but it's the same things. It's like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Almost, you know.
Yeah. Well, you used to do something that I never understood until I wrote my book. When that was like, you would say you would actually write. You would you'd have that sleep thing on your computer. So
it's called Write Room.
Write Room, and you'd write, and you'd like it help you. It really helps you work out your jokes. And in my head, I was like, that sounds good for him, but that'll never work for me because I write on stage. So I'm better on stage. But then I had to write like flying dildos, which is not making it into the book. I wrote it out as a story, and I was like, fuck, man, you really, when you are forced to sit and write things down and write it out long form, you come up with so many more tags, it's such a better story.
Yeah.
I wrote the machine story and just for the book, and it was like, I'm telling you when I say this, for the first time this weekend, I will say that is a good fucking story on stage now. Like, and I've been doing it for a while, but it's like just writing it.
Right.
It makes you think about everything. Yeah. You're like, fuck, I need to fill up room. It needs to be 16 pages. Like,
yeah.
But so now I'm at this place where I want to write everything I fucking have.
You should. It's it applies with almost everything. Attention and focus. You get better at things.
Yeah.
And you don't get better by sort of using things that you already know.
Being lazy.
You have to go over. Yeah. There's a lot of there's like stand up itself. Like, there's all sorts of times where you're gonna come up with something that just exists just out of a conversation, and it's great and it's awesome. And you bring it on stage. Holy shit! It's my new great bit. I said this really funny thing when we were hanging out the other day, and it became a great bit. But that doesn't mean that you can't also get shit by sitting down and doing that boring work.
Yeah.
Boring work, whatever it is. There's an awesome book on this. I've mentioned it a million times, but if you haven't heard it, it's called The War of Art by a guy named Stephen Pressfield. We've talked about it.
Silver book.
It's amazing.
Fucking love that book.
And what it's about is about overcoming resistance. And that sometimes, and it's not just about writing, man. It can be about losing weight. It could be about not, like getting out of your house and fucking not being a weirdo. Like, you can get stagnant. You can get stuck. You can get trapped in a pattern. And it's also easy to get trapped in a pattern where you sabotage yourself. That happens with a lot of people. A lot of what you do every day, that you wish you hadn't done. You're sabotaging yourself. And it's usually like in a response to pressure, a response to, overwhelming obligations or things along those lines. People look for distractions to take themselves away from the pressure of life. But instead, he sort of emphasizes how satisfying it is to embrace it. To be a professional, sit down and do the work. Just do it, and this is what you do. This is your ethic.
So hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to do, but it's super satisfying to do.
You probably know this. You probably have been dealing with this for a long time. But I heard Amy Schumer on Bobby Kelly's podcast talk about how difficult being 100% busy is. Like when you have like a TV show and you're doing the road and you're doing a tour and you're doing everything. And I was like, wow, I really connect with that because I had always been the comic. And I think the majority of our friends have dealt with this too. Ari, Joey, Duncan. Every dude is a dude that fucks around all day. And then at night you get like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And then you've done the work for the day. Maybe you have a day job. Maybe you audition. But as far as like working from 8 in the morning until fucking 11 every night, overwhelming.
Yeah, having a TV job, you mean. What Amy's doing is way harder than most because she's trying to do a sketch show. Sketch shows. We did that with the Man Show. Those are not easy to do by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of work. And there's a lot of, politicking that goes on. That shit can be really stressful because everybody doesn't agree. This guy's going to have one vision. He's going to have another vision. And you get together and this fucking producer doesn't agree with the network who thinks it should go this way. And then you got to go on stage that night, man. You're gonna have nothing left.
She came to my Portland show, my late Portland show. Showed up. And you could see it in her eyes, like it's time to fucking party. And she was like, and she even said, I know Amy, I can say anything like this. She goes, hey, you have a cute feature? And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm looking to F somebody. But she didn't because I did not. But
well, doesn't she have a boyfriend?
No.
That's also a famous guy?
No.
They don't do that.
But aren't they always on it again?
I think they're just regular adults. Just regular adults.
Yeah.
She didn't cheat. She didn't hook up with anyone, so it doesn't really matter. And she might have been saying it's a joke. You know, look, guys,
Can't
what are we
talk
trying to
about
get everyone
that.
to talk about?
Yeah, getting everybody in trouble here.
Yeah.
Can't talk about that shit on the podcast.
Yeah, Amy was fun. We drank in my hotel room until 4 in the morning.
She's a real comic.
She really is.
Yeah, she's legit. You know, whether or not that TV show works out for her, she's a real comic.
It's a good show.
I bet it is. She's funny as shit, man. But you know, whatever she does, she'll be awesome.
Yeah.
She's legit. You know, if you're funny, you're funny.
She reminds me of my oldest daughter.
Really?
They have she has a blue jumper, like a baby blue jumper that Amy, when we worked on a show together, that she wore one time, and I thought I haven't seen anyone in a jumper, like shorts and a jumper. And one day Georgia has the exact same jumper on, and I was like, holy shit! And she looked fucking just like Amy. I called Amy and took a picture of Georgia and it's her. But yeah, she reminds me a lot of Amy.
Yeah.